I'm Jesse Norman. It's my great pleasure to chair today, actually not to chair, to stand through on your behalf today's meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss the ways in which we can protect and support the Museum and Archives Service. And I've got two people with me who are playing vital roles in that. One is Elizabeth Semper-O'Keefe to my left, who's going to give us an update on the situation in Broad Street. And then to my right, Hilary McGowan, who is going to give us her description of the work she's been able to do so far in exploring possible avenues and solutions. And then we're going to throw the meeting over to you, ladies and gentlemen, for all of your ideas and suggestions. I would just say one thing, which is the focus of this meeting is Museums and Archive Service. It's not a museum, this is not about libraries as such. It may well be appropriate in due course to have another public meeting on the issue of libraries, but I'd be very grateful, just in deference to the purpose of the meeting and the people who called it and where we are, if we could keep relatively closely to the topic in hand, and then we can have a further conversation about libraries in due course. And of course, anyone who wants to come and see me about support for libraries separately, either at a surgery or after this event, is very, very welcome to do that. So with that in mind, can I open the floor to Elizabeth to give us an update on Broad Street. Elizabeth.
I have got a small update on the position of Broad Street. The council is continuing to gather costs around the removal of asbestos and the making good and any other costs that might be encountered in that remedial work. Then a decision will be taken on what can be done about that by Cabinet. We understand that permission has been given that we can remove some of the items from the museum and gallery so that we can film the Spun Gold exhibition and remove some of the items that are on loan. And we're also actively looking at alternative venues for the museum site so that we can try and put on some exhibition elsewhere in Hereford.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's actually fabulous to see so many people here. We did wonder whether the room would be big enough, and now we know. But I think it is testament to something that has been brought home very, very clearly to us over the last 2 or 3 weeks, that history and heritage do matter in Herefordshire. And the range of organisations and types of people represented here tonight is a real demonstration of this. So thank you very much for coming. This meeting was my idea because there were so many people who wanted to talk to me and my colleagues as part of our consultation that there was really no other way of getting round as many people as wanted to have their say. And yes, I can invite people to send me an email, but actually talking to people face to face or in a huge room like this is much more effective to have that debate amongst you. So thank you very much indeed. I have a background in museums and heritage. I have run my own business for 18 years, following 20 years in local government, which is where the grey hairs come from. As a museums and heritage director in York, Exeter and Bristol. And I specialise in helping museums and archives build resilience, be strong and survive into the future. And over the last couple of years I have worked with the Museum Service to help them cope with the problems of diminishing budgets. So I was very pleased to be approached to pitch for this brief with my 2 colleagues, Alistair Stevenson, who lives in Herefordshire, who is a business planner with a tourism background, and my colleague Rosie Parr, who is one of our leading charity lawyers, who is looking at potential models for the future for running these services and assessing the HLF contract, which is part of this building. So we've had a very interesting few weeks. Lots of people wanted to talk to us, as I said, and we've got a very, very clear brief from the council, but it's actually quite difficult to actually fulfil the brief. A lot of people have quoted the brief at me, but quite incorrectly, so it's very short, so I'll just read it out. The key objectives are to create a roadmap for museum and archive services with the intention of moving to a zero-based subsidy, which we understand to mean that the council would not be putting any money into it. Second bullet point, to present opportunities for the service in meeting the requirements of a contemporary, local and visiting audience. Third bullet point, we recommend a future delivery model for the services, including objectives, purpose and finances. The review specifically needs to evaluate the feasibility of the service operating on a zero-based subsidy. We suggested, before we signed the contract, that it be amended that if operating on a zero-based subsidy is not feasible, no such thing as if, but never mind, we have to say that, we would consider the steps the council could take so that progress could be made towards this situation, which is one of the things that we have spent most of our time looking at. And if I could just say that the staff in both the services have been brilliant. They were a brilliant bunch of people. They've been very, very open and helpful to us, and you can't ask for anything more than that. We've also worked through the opening weeks of the new archive, and I was actually there on the opening day, and nobody said, please go away, we're trying to open the building. So I take my hat off to them, to how professional and efficient they are, and they are definitely to be cherished. One of the things that we have come to a conclusion of, and we have already talked this through with the senior officers in the council, is that it is not feasible to run these two services without any subsidy. I know from my experience with museums and archives that no one runs at a profit. That's not the point. Indeed, you should be as effective and financially resilient as possible. But museums and archives are about collections and the information that is in there. It's wonderful to have seen so many people turn out for the meeting. And there was a real positive energy in the room, which delighted me. Lots of interesting viewpoints and lots of people whom we wouldn't have met otherwise. So it's been very, very interesting. I think my head's too full of what's gone on tonight to be able to analyse it anymore. But I'm really grateful that so many people want to show that they care and how important the heritage services are.
I would like to echo that really. I'm really heartened by the support that the phenomenally full room has shown. We who work in the Museums and Archive Services, we're passionate about the collections. We kind of assume other people are, but it is good to have that backed up by a full room of people determined to have their say. Some really interesting ideas, some I think we can genuinely work with, whether you put them in the report or not, some places we can go. So overall, a really great evening.
I must say, I thought it was absolutely terrific. I really liked the fact that not just did you have all those people in the room pulsating with energy and lots of ideas flying around, but also there was a proper recognition of the importance of a core professional team at the centre of the two services. And also there was a tremendous delight and pleasure, I think, at the quality of the things that were said by Hilary and by Elizabeth, because actually a lot of this is going to boil down to specific recommendations, specific analysis, and does look as though we've got a very good team sitting behind this analysis, and therefore the council can get some proper advice that it can then hopefully act on for a long-term solution.